So our story continues with Vegito standing before the bulked up and angered looking Jiren, who he had just summoned, as the horned former Pride Trooper would just grunt out, "So, it was you, Vegito. Your life ends here!"
Oh no, wait, what?
But in response to this, Vegito remains with his eyes closed,
Jiren
almost
came
disappointed in himself
Came out
and
angry,
regretting
man. He said,
lurking
"Your
with
life
his head
ends
down,
here,
he lets
bro."
out, "Listen to me, Jiren. I know what you're feeling right now. I know you're angry.
Yeah,
You
beyond
may
angry,
even
bro.
hate me. You've been through more than what most could ever imagine. But just remember, the same exact thing happened to me. It was 10 years for me, maybe not as long as you've spent, but I was chained up while you were free to move.
What does that mean, bro?
You need to see the good in this, because whatever you may be thinking, this was necessary for us to get rid of these gods." Before then opening his eyes with a smile and enthusiastically continuing,
Bro, Jiren is not
"Just
happy,
look
bro.
at you now, Jiren. You're a beast. Your power is on a whole new level. Just tell me, was this really that bad? With your ability, I honestly wish I could have kept you longer. But I need your help now." But suddenly,
he ain't having it,
before
bro.
the
He
god
is
killer
not
can
having
even
it.
finish his encouraging line, Jiren, with full force, his teeth bared and full of rage, would slam a right hook right across the face of the unsuspecting base Vegito, as blood splatters all over. Sending Vegito flying off with an incomparable speed towards the nearby surrounding rocky formations. Smashing instantly through 3 different large mountains as if they were pieces of paper. Jiren! Finally, only landing to crash
Vegito
flat
has
on his
no
back
power right
against the
now. He's
wall of the
completely
fourth
drained right now.
diamond-like mountain, only muttering the name of his former friend as he does so. Huh? What the? Leaving Yamoshi beyond surprised as he witnesses the unexpected interaction, his eyes wide with confusion as he thinks, "What is going on here? I thought the God Killer summoned this creature, but he's turning on him? Maybe this thing isn't anything to do with Vegito after all." Before in deep thought, he ducks his head down and thinks in deep contemplation, trying to find a straw to cling to explain things, as he begins, "I must have been right. I could sense it instantly. That horn, that ungodly power. This is some kind of demon. But how?
Okay, so he thinks
I already
Jiren is a
monitored the
demon.
gates between realms earlier. Every weakling demon attempting to escape was handled as usual. Did I leave one behind? No. Not one with this kind of strength. As behind the third, we then see an insight into
I guess because
demon
of the
realm,
horn or
as
something,
the
he probably
corpses
thinks
of
Jiren
demons
is a demon. But
and
I
the
mean,
victims lay
he didn't call
before
Vegito
the
a demon,
body of
right?
Yamoshi. But quickly, on finishing these contemplations, Yamoshi spreads out his arms and legs into some kind of fighting stance, ready to pounce as he continues. "Whatever the case, demon or not, this must be the worst possible moment to be having to deal with this." Thanks, Arj. Battling Vegito all this time with that nonsense Kaioken multiplier has drained me of almost all of my energy reserves. This is going to be war. Before a bleeding smirk then appears across the face of the third, as he ominously then says, "But I guess that is exactly the kind of challenge a true Saiyan strives of."
And That is true.
Be gone, you demon!
Hey, yo,
As
Yamoshi
instantly,
versus
Yamoshi's
Jiren, bro?
mannerism switches to attack mode as he begins rushing at the back-turned Jiren with full speed and velocity. Always keep watch of your surroundings, amateur! Slamming a fist right onto the soft back part of Jiren's head.
Jiren ain't moving, bro.
Strangely,
Wait, Jiren
on
ain't moving.
impact, the cranium of Jiren doesn't seem to move at all. What? Leaving Yamoshi shell-shocked in the process, having never seen anyone tank his hit like this, let alone a random demon. What now? As the angered, covered in veins, still Jiren will then slowly turn his head to Yamoshi, inquiring, "And who are you? A friend of Son Goku? Stay out of this! He dies today!"
Whoa.
Quickly then responding with a hard and impactful sidekick that's right into the abdomen of Yamoshi. Sending the heavily damaged and winded third flying backwards.
Damn, I might go Jiren. He's angry right now,
But
bro.
just being able to hang on, unexpected of a member of the five, Yamoshi manages to sink his right hand into the ground and stop himself going any further as he skids across the ground backwards. What the hell is going on here? Leaving a bloodied and frustrated Yamoshi on the brink of exhaustion to angrily begin letting out, "No! No! This is no normal demon. This has to be close to Emperor level. But there is no way one of those could have got here by themselves. Zeno, the priest, or the fifth of the five, would have surely stepped in for that. This makes no sense. Not unless Lucifer has returned." But as Yamoshi in rage wonders how any of this is possible, Jiren, marveling at his own power, covered in black lightning running all around him, would look into his palm and concede, "I am no demon, but this power I have attained, this is truly something I could have never imagined even a god obtaining.
Okay.
It has been so long since I have even seen another living being, let alone attacked one. I didn't think this day would ever come. I wonder now if there even exists a being that could equal me in battle." Before almost in a schizophrenic change of personality, Jiren would turn back once again to Vegito's direction in pure disdain and yell out, "But no matter how much stronger I have gotten, it was gained by means that I did not want.
That's
The
true.
most horrific of methods.
Facts.
Chosen by you, Son Goku.
Oh no.
Many
Oh, no,
Many
no.
years ago, it was you who also nearly sealed the fate of my entire universe with your so-called tournament of power. And now, you have chosen to waste the next 30 years of my life again. You fight to rid the gods who treat the lives of mortals as nothing. But you have done the same to mine.
That is true,
And
man.
you will pay the same price you have given them. This is the end, Son Goku!
Oh no.
As Jiren then continues his
Jiren.
assault on his true goal.
Jiren got imprisoned
rushing in
just
at
like
full
Vegito
power,
did.
Still as angry as the second he came out. Within nanoseconds, breaking the distance
Vegito
between
has
him
no
and
strength,
Vegito,
bro. What is gonna
the
happen,
God Killer
bro?
remains in the distance, still slumped against the wall. And as the completely damaged and exhausted Vegito looks on, trying his best to brace himself for imminent beatdown, he can only let out, "Damn it! He won't listen to a word of reason. Is this really how I'm going to go out? Jiren, please!" What? What are you doing? Leaving Yamoshi in an embarrassed confusion, as with his teeth bared, he yells out, "You dare attack a god and then turn your attention back to a mortal? Who do you think I am? Some kind of second corpse?"
Oh, no.
I will not be taken lightly!
Yeah, man,
As
he
in
does
a
not want to be
rage,
second
feeling
fiddle, bro.
jilted,
He doesn't want to be a
Yamoshi would
Vegito,
suddenly
bro.
power up to a whole new level of power. Roaring to the very heavens he descends from, as even his armor and clothes begin to forcefully rip off in his insane aura. And Jiren, who midway through his rush to Vegito would even notice from the corner of his eye the sudden rise in power from behind. Eventually then leaving even
Hey, yo,
Jiren
Super
in a
Saiyan
state
Blue
of
Yamoshi,
surprise
bro.
as the wind from the power blows hard on his
let's
flesh.
see.
And he notes, "What is this? This power? It feels divine. Who is this? It reminds me of..." As suddenly, Yamoshi, now topless, with much of his trousers and clothing missing now, would stand slightly slimmer than before, but with a raging, positively divine red aura emanating from his every
What is this,
pore.
Ultra Super Saiyan
Before
God or
lifting
something?
his hand up abruptly, to point a finger straight at Jiren and command, "You. Now that I have your attention finally, how about you leave my prey alone and get your own? Or fight me for it. But before that, tell me who the hell you are. What is your name?
Okay, we're getting
And
introductions.
exactly what region of the demon realm did your scum existence escape from?" But an unimpressed with the accusation Jiren would stare back into the eyes of Yamoshi, now intrigued, and reply, "Demon, that is truly what you believe I am. After sensing the nature of that aura of yours, I would have thought you would know better to recognize your fellow god." As immediately Jiren would then begin his own power-up of sorts, as his muscles begin flexing, and from the middle of his body, strange purple bright
Yeah,
lights
got a destruction.
inexplicably begin
Hakaishin
lighting
powers,
in a
bro.
formation on his chest until... After all, I am still technically Universe 11's God of Destruction. Jiren.
Yeah, he still kind of is, yeah.
As stunningly, Jiren then
this
stands
is
tall
good.
in a whole new level of power of his own, with God of Destruction symbols draped on his chest. As he enters
He also has Ultra
some
Instinct
type
still,
of
too. Like, this
complete
dude is
Hakaishin
cracked. Oh my gosh.
A God of Destruction! Leaving Yamoshi taken back as he stands before the new Jiren. This cannot be! And the
This
shell-shock
can
and
be.
confusion
Yeah,
continues long after.
Oh my
as Yamoshi, almost stepping back in bewilderment, continues. There is no way a simple destroyer in these universes would have this kind of power. Don't try and deceive me, demon. That horn, if not a demon, it at the very least looks near identical to the God Killer.
Okay, so he did take note of that. Okay.
But Jiren, hearing this, in an annoyed fashion, would then grab onto the horn himself, looking at it as he lets out, "Even I don't even know where this came from. I got it shortly after I was trapped in the Pyramid of Power by that animal. As my rage, anger, and power grew, so too did this. That's all I know, but I hardly care for it. What? This explanation leaving Yamoshi in a surprised state as he tries to take in Jiren's words, before muttering, "A demon horn activated on a god? Rage and anger. Nonsense! That is not how those demonic features form. Not unless..."
Not unless.
Before suddenly, an anger washes over Yamoshi as with a screw face and cold look, he says, "In that case, tell me, Destroyer, exactly where is your predecessor? What did you do to him?" As an at peace and calm Jiren would unflinchingly just reply, "Former god of destruction Belmod? Well, that is a question I can answer easily. He is gone, erased from existence.
He went to go get some milk.
For crimes
I don't think he's
against
gonna be
the
coming back,
entire
though.
family of a young child. For crimes against me. It was I who killed him." As in the background, we see a flashback to the exact moment in a previous chapter.
That moment was
Jiren
brutal.
learned the truth
That
of
was
his
crazy
past
when Jiren
and
did that.
Belmont, and took his sweet revenge. I knew it! As instantly in a flush of rage, Yamoshi's aura would flux once more, as he powers up angrily, letting out, "I knew it. I knew that you were a god killer too! A demon in waiting, forming itself in the living realm. This explains everything." As in a slightly calmer state, Yamoshi would then begin expounding, "That horn is no accident at all, Jiren the Grey. Demons, those who commit sins too great to even just be sent to hell.
Okay.
Those who commit cardinal sins that go against the very law of Zeno.
Okay.
The biggest of which is the murder of a god. Both you and Vegito are one in the same. God killers that are forever now destined to enter the demon realm for eternity once you die. That horn and his are simply physical representations of the change already taking place. And let this go long enough, and you will become a full demon existing in the realm of mortals. Something I cannot, and neither will any of the five allow anymore. Today, not just Vegito, but you too will die." As behind Yamoshi, after this shocking revelation, an image of both Vegito and Jiren
Brutal.
down in the demon
Definitely
realm appears
brutal.
as if a premonition
Jeez.
of the future. But even with this plot-defining reveal, Jiren remains as emotionless and steadfast as always, instead staring back and just replying simply, "God killers, demons, call me whatever you would like. None of this matters to me anymore.
He did get his revenge.
Belmont deserved to die, and so too does anyone else who crosses me. This horn means nothing to me, but if its existence means you will now challenge me, then I welcome it, warrior.
Okay.
I will not stand down from any challenge, though I warn you, after what I've been through, I would not push me." and for a moment, the two would then stand tensely before each other, in complete silence, as each wait for the other to make the first move before... Enough with the tough talk! I've slaughtered more than enough of your kind to know that you're nothing! As with a crazed look and covered
Alright,
in his
Emoshi.
red aura,
Let's see, Emoshi
Yomoshi
versus
would launch
Jiren.
at
Let's go.
Jiren with his arm already cocked back. And this time, Jiren is forced to grab onto and stop the punch rather than just tank it. And though at first it appears as the cold Jiren is unaffected, the force of the punch is then soon apparent, as Jiren is then forced to jump back in tandem with Yomoshi from the shockwave.
Okay. Shockwave.
As the two then stand facing each other
Must be
with
pretty-
two
pretty
begrudging
powerful,
looks,
that
one
punch.
closed-mouthed and focused, while the other is practically foaming from the mouth with anger and battle lust. Come back here! With Yomoshi not ceasing his attack, jumping quickly to Jiren once again, as the second God Killer just stands still, watching fearlessly until... Silence! Suddenly then lifting his palm into the air, as if lifting the weight of the world, as his body flexes as he does so. As from the ground,
Hey, yo, is
right
that
before
Moro's
Yomoshi
technique?
reaches Jiren, a burst of pure flames and intense magma rises from the ground Moro style.
Yeah, more.
Taking the third by surprise, as he no longer can even stop his momentum in time. How meaningless! But regardless,
straight
with
through
his
it?
newfound power, he easily and brazenly smashes through the intense heat despite the burns and continues rushing right to a surprise Jiren. But as Jiren attempts to counter Yomoshi's rush in with a punch, at the very last second with expert precision, Yomoshi ducks right under, commenting, "Too slow, Destroyer."
Okay.
Surprising Jiren, who briefly thinks, his speed. And Yomoshi,
Man,
yet
Yomoshi's
again,
still-
who appears
still
to be
in here, it
reading
looks like.
thoughts, comments with a confident smirk. "It's not just my speed you should be worrying about, youngster." As within his palm, wrapped around Jiren's arm, with a perfect, indefensible line to the Pride Trooper, a ball of concentrated energy forms. Not bad. Leaving Jiren to immediately flex all his muscles, with veins popping all over as he readies his body for impact.
Okay. Oh, damn.
And just like as expected,
Yomoshi's still-
a
I mean,
humongous
Yomoshi's doing
point-blank
pretty good
explosion
still,
is seen
considering
as the
Jiren,
key
you
beam
know, is
explodes
powered up and
directly on Jiren. And in the silence, a proud Yomoshi just stands firmly before the wall of smoke before him. Left giggling as he lets out, "Not so cocky now, are you, Destroyer? In the end, you were just yet another baby demon that is way out of his depth." But just as an air of confidence builds
Yeah,
within the
Jiren doesn't
third,
go out like that, bro.
suddenly,
Sorry.
from the smoke before him, a muscular arm that could only belong to one warrior shoots out, palm open, ready to grab onto Yomoshi. I'm not sure I'm the one here who is out of his depth, warrior. As suddenly standing there as the smoke dissipates totally is Jiren, with his palm outreached as if ready now to blow up Yomoshi with his own ki beam. But just when Jiren's next move seems predictable, from out of nowhere, a clone of Jiren appears ready to attack from behind. Damn it! I'm surrounded! As suddenly, the gravity of Yamoshi's precarious situation becomes extremely evident. With Yamoshi realizing, as the Jiren from behind attacks, physically, another is ready to blast him into the ground in front. But as the Jiren from behind slams his fist into the ground, missing Yamoshi by nanoseconds, the third quickly vanishes. Surrounded, but not quite. Appearing again, now in the air above both clones. I don't know what you're laughing about, but you're right where I want you! Instantly then being followed up by the second Jiren, who blasts off a powerful ball of Hakai straight at Yamoshi just as he appears, as if this was all planned out from the beginning. And before he knows it, the third is faced with a quickly growing in size ball of destruction that is ready to erase him. But as the energy and brightness of the ball begins to even light up Yamoshi's face as it reaches closer and closer, Yamoshi forcefully then grabs the destruction ball with both arms as it burns the very flesh of his skin before.
Oh, wait, what?
Don't underestimate me! Launching his hands into the air,
off his flesh.
the
Okay,
ball in
dude,
tandem as he
this
stares
is a
into
brutal
the
fight,
sky.
bro. Look at Yamoshi's face right there, bro.
And just like that,
clothes
crisis
ripped
is
up,
averted
Jiren
as Yamoshi launches the
angry.
ball of
Bro,
destruction
what's going
into the
on,
air
dude?
and into the depths
What is your
of
Vegito
space.
doing? Just taking a nap, bro? Like,
Looking down now with full smugness, as with a big grin, he lets out patronizingly. Good try, demon. Not every day one of your kind can utilize destruction. But when it's that weak, is there even any point? Leaving an unimpressed Jiren to just grumble under his breath in the aftermath. But meanwhile, as the two titans battle it out, Vegito remains injured and near out of energy, back on the ground, attempting to recover. But soon, he can't help but notice the massive battle
it needs to pop a
before Jiren
time
and
portal
the
and get
third,
like another sensu
with
game or
seemingly
something,
nothing
bro.
the Pride Trooper doing being able to one-up Yamoshi. As when Vegito begins standing up once more, he begins thinking, Jiren, he really has gotten so much stronger. A genius with talent that far surpasses Kakarot or Vegeta. I always knew, with the right amount of training, he would become a monster. But even like this, that freak Yamoshi is still too much, I fear. Before his teeth now beginning to
true,
bare
though?
in frustration, Vegito would
I feel like
continue.
Jiren has way more up
I
his
need
sleeve.
to
though.
help, but I need to recover my energy first. I could go try and get another Senzu from a different timeline.
Okay.
But every second counts in this battle. I can't leave Jiren alone. If I came back too late and something happened to him, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I need to figure out another way. I wish I knew how to use all of Boo's, all Whis' staff's abilities. But as Vegito ponders on his next move, the battle between Yamoshi and Jiren inevitably continues. As suddenly
Yeah, man, he needs
Yamoshi
to
begins
find
powering
out how
up
to
in his
use
palm,
Whis'
a
stabs,
ball
bro.
of
He'll be
energy
like
of his
OP
own
with
yelling.
that, bro. Telling him,
Allow
bro,
me to
I
show
swear
a
he'll be
fake
OP.
god as yourself a true energy attack! as an annoyed Jiren would ominously just comment, "This is beginning to bore me." As immediately, Jiren surrounds himself in his own signature red aura, tightening his body and skyrocketing his power briefly. Yeah! Divine Arrow! Just as Yomoshi then launches his attack, which within a flash already reaches face first with the former destroyer.
Okay.
You must be joking! As incredibly, despite
he just, like,
Yomoshi's
punched it
claims,
and it, like,
with just one
this kinda
forceful
reminds me of,
punch,
like, a scene I
Jiren
saw once
obliterates
before,
the
bro.
energy attack, sending multiple shards of energy to
I
spread
mean, it's
out
very similar
and
to like when
separate on
Goku fight that
collision
Kamehameha
and
against
shoot
them.
past
Like
the
when he's in
bright
base form, it's just like that, bro.
in the aftermath, causing multiple explosions right behind Jiren for devastating effect. But watching on, Vegito suddenly notices something, commenting, "Jiren, you're keeping up, but that energy..." After which the former destroyer will then shoot up into the sky after Yomoshi, ready to finish things. So, you're not as pathetic as I once thought. While Yomoshi, unbothered, would just power up yet another more powerful ball of energy, yelling, "Well, let's see you handle something a little more harsh! Bring it on!" But unfazed, Jiren with his fiery fist outstretched would continue his unflinching flight. And for good reason, as no matter how much energy Yomoshi tosses at Jiren, with just his fist alone, Jiren manages to smash through the ki beam like butter. As yet again, the energy beam snaps into 5 different beams of energy.
Yeah, that's a
fall
nice
to
shot
the
right
ground
there.
like bombs. But this time, these energy beams are in full view and accessible to Vegito. Who immediately then begins giggling as a smirk appears.
Or is he
while
gonna use
thinks,
the energy absorption
"Yes,
thing? That's why
this
he's
is
laughing.
it. This is my chance to tag back in." As Vegito then quickly removes the glove from his left hand and... Come to Papa!
Yeah, I mean this is a
And
good way to get
Vegito
more energy, to be
finally
honest with you.
once
This actually is
again
pretty good,
reveals
actually.
his signature energy absorption device in his palm that was implanted by Dr. Gero himself. His arms already cocked back to do the unthinkable. Launching quickly with speed, using what's left of his stamina to rush right into the firing line of the still falling shards of energy before... That's it! Perfect! It may not be much, but it will be enough! As immediately, all 5 energy beams
damn, all
are
5 of them
attracted
went
towards
down
Vegito's
there.
energy absorption bead like magnets, as each and every one is absorbed completely. You gotta do better than that! As Jiren then finally reaches Yomoshi and slams a fist that is just
that's
barely
good,
blocked
bro.
by the cocky Yomoshi
Should at
until...
least, I don't know. Whoa, what just happened?
But it's not long before the
Oh,
forced
damn, he got
confidence
punched.
is
Okay.
broken apart. And
damn,
Jiren lands a
Yomoshi,
blow
man.
in the gut of Yomoshi and then follows up with a hard hook right across the face of Yomoshi too. And as Yomoshi stumbles back
Yeah,
with his
I don't think
eyes
Jiren
barely
needs any
open
help,
from the
guys.
pain,
I'm just gonna
he
say,
would
I'm
begin
gonna be honest,
muttering,
bro.
This is absurd. How am I being beaten by a mere destroyer? Demon or not, this cannot be. Each of these attacks is doing far too much damage. Maybe it's just the effects of having fought that clown Vegito earlier, but I cannot allow another hit. As Yomoshi stands facing Jiren, an impatient Jiren with his back to us would inquire, "What's wrong, warrior? Have you given up?" And just like that, as if almost conceding to what Jiren had requested, Yomoshi inexplicably reverts back to base form.
Okay.
What? Yomoshi! Leaving both Jiren and Vegito perplexed by his actions and possible motives, with Vegito thinking, "What's happening? He's gone back to base, but for what reason? He's as Saiyan as they come. There's no way his pride would allow him to give up like this." But meanwhile, Yomoshi would just remain silent, not uttering a word until... Suddenly, his hair shoots up as if transforming once again. Before, his
how's
head
that Ultra
then cocks
Instinct,
back,
bro?
and what's visible of his hair seems to have turned mysteriously from black to white. And finally, in a shock turn
I'm
of
not
events,
surprised by this.
Yomoshi, the
they're
first
the
Super
five,
Saiyan
they're the
God,
first of the five
reveals
strongest
himself now in
for
his
a reason. Like,
mastered
they're the five
Ultra
strongest
Instinct
for a
form,
reason, right?
white
So,
hair and all,
if
commenting,
Goku can do it, I mean, definitely
"If
Yomoshi
having
can do
to avoid your attacks is what is needed now, young Jiren, then this form will be more
it. I
than
mean, Jiren
enough."
can do the same thing, so.
But curiously, as Jiren watches on, a nostalgic smile appears on his face as he thinks, "So, he too can use that form. This certainly brings back memories of him." Referring back, of course, to the first time he fought Son Goku in his Ultra Instinct form. What? But in a stark contrast, Vegito instead is left gobsmacked as he lets out, He could have used Ultra Instinct against me this whole time? Just how much was he holding back against me? Damn it, I need to do something now before it's too late." But just
Bro,
before
chill
he
out,
makes his
Vegito.
move,
I think
Vegito pauses
Jiren
and
has it under
contemplates.
control, bro.
"I've only got a bit of my energy back, but blue should be enough to back up Jiren. If he attacks from one side and I attack from the other, we should be able to counter Ultra Instinct." And just like that, immediately Vegito does then transform into his Super Saiyan Blue state. "Don't worry, Jiren, I've got your back!" Instantly then rushing in, as Yomoshi turns to the God Killer and remains motionless as if not bothered in the slightest. But Jiren meanwhile takes notice too, but does not seem as unbothered, thinking, "Son Goku." Before instantly appearing right beside a shocked Vegito who asks, Jiren, what are you?"
Whoa,
Before
damn.
once again, with no hesitation,
Jiren
slamming his
just-
fist into the ribs of Vegito
Damn,
with
Jiren
true
just hit him so
intensity,
damn hard, bro.
screaming as he
Damn.
does so, "You are not my ally, Son Goku, so stay out of my business and wait your turn!" Sending the brutally
So much
damaged
for all the
Vegito
energy
flying
you
off
just
once
collected.
more,
That probably
and
got
again
zapped out of him
rushing
just
back
like
into
this.
a mountain
Oh
like
my
an
God.
unwanted doll. Huh? Surprising Yomoshi as he realizes now he won't be having to deal with two God Killers after all, especially now as Jiren is preoccupied with his back turned, thinking, "I have no idea what's going on between those two, but if he wants to make this easier for me, then be my guest." Immediately then shooting from the spot with a confident smile, now clad and covered in his MUR aura.
I'm still just thinking about what to Vegito, man.
Looks
He
like
got
I'll be
bodied,
killing you from
yeah.
behind once again, friend.
I'm surprised
Commenting as he
his
quickly approaches
ribs
from
didn't
behind.
shatter or anything.
But with Jiren's senses and reactions, this time he notices instantly, and his frustrations and veins begin to bubble up until... Enough games! With a roar, Jiren yells to the sky and...
huh?
Finally
What
begins
what's
just
happening?
another power-up, with his back still turned to the third, but the force of his power alone enough to stop Yamoshi in his tracks. As Jiren's power begins to soar, so too does his fiery red aura begin to swell to new heights. Eventually beginning now to even dwarf him in size as Yamoshi begins to be pushed back. Closing one of his eyes
What is
and
going
bringing both
on?
arms up now to cover himself from the pushback of the wind itself. Yamoshi just thinks to himself, what's going on here? How is his power suddenly rising like this? Is this Kaioken again? What?
Kaioken.
But before Yamoshi can even spend a second more wondering what kind of transformation Jiren is undergoing, everything is cut short as the true nature of Jiren's unreal speed is revealed, appearing instantaneously before the third, with his palm already engaged to... In one vicious fell swoop,
Oh, damn, so
Yamoshi
much
is
for Ultra
grabbed by
Instinct,
his
bro.
face. With so much
Damn,
force,
whoa.
the third is almost briefly knocked unconscious. And violently, with unimaginable strength, Jiren bends Yamoshi's back completely to slam his bare skull right down onto the hard surface of the planet for a gigantic smash. And in the aftermath, as Jiren removes his hand in silence, not even the sound of agonizing pain can be heard due to the ferocity. As Yamoshi is then seen back in base, one eye barely open and quickly fading, as in his last moments, the legendary Saiyan mutters, his speed, it beat Ultra Instinct. And Jiren, as if now providing one obligatory final word, would then just reply, that form may have took me by surprise at one point in my life, but not anymore.
I mean, he literally knows how
Power
to do it. So.
is everything. Attaboy. As an almost equally beaten Vegito, who holds himself up now onto a rock, smiles knowing the third is finally
so
finished.
Jiren is stronger
And
than
lets
the
out,
third. So like Jiren at least
Jiren,
is like on the
you
fourth of the
absolute
five
monster.
strongest level.
You did it!
I assume.
You really beat him. Me and you
It is crazy though.
will save everyone
Him being in that
after
time
all.
chamber just. Oh.
But unbelievably, with the same unimaginable speed and power, Jiren then appears, thrusting his fist straight into the body of the completely vulnerable Vegito, splashing blood and guts all over his arm. As with nothing short of a serious and deadly frank stare, he then finally says,
I mean, he doesn't know about Boo's powers,
yes, I will save everyone from you, Son Goku!
Guys, that was insane, dude. At the end there, he literally, so he doesn't know about Boo's powers, right? He doesn't know anything about that. He used his speed, bro. Vegito beat him with, I believe, what it was like Ultra Ego, or I think it was I don't know if he had this like Ultra like final form or whatever, right? But Vegito beat Jiren like a couple of chapters back, so he like, from that point in time when he was the God of Destruction till now, he went from there all the way to like the 4th of the 5 strongest level. That's crazy. Bare minimum too. That's like bare minimum. And to make things like even crazier, bro, he just at the end there he just put his fist straight through Vegito's stomach, bro. Cause like I said, he doesn't know anything about Boo, so technically he's thinking that Vegito is dead. Like he as a whole, he still thinks he's a Saiyan, And I mean, the same with a hole in his stomach. I mean, he's dead, right? Like, it's over. It's a wrap, bro. Like, Taco Bell Crunch Wrap, man. It's finished, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but like, damn, okay. Bro, Jiren stole the show here, guys. I mean, I have nothing else to say, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, of course. And man, stay safe. From Jiren, of course. Stay safe.